happening, everybody? Monday, September 16th, 2024. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning into Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed, giddy up, let's go show for you guys today. Obviously, another deranged lunatic has attempted to take a shot at the President of the United States, this time at his golf course in Palm Beach. We're going to go over everything we definitely know about the assassin, because sometimes you can know so much about somebody that you actually know nothing about him. And I want to make a couple things very clear before we get into this. People are going to have their opinions, CIA, deep state, blah, 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 this way, that way, upwards and downs. I'm going to tell you what we know, all right? A lot of things don't make sense. A lot of things don't add up. They took him alive, so maybe we'll get some answers. Certainly more than the last attempted assassin. Before we dive into all of it, I want to give a shout out to the Secret Service for both doing a terrible job and a good job at the same time. A good job because the guy didn't get a shot off. A bad job because how the hell do people keep getting this close to the president? How does that keep happening? We're going to get into all of that throughout the show today. Also, 2 days, baby. 2 days, 48 hours. And Donald Trump will be on Long Island for all my Long Islanders out there watching. Giddy up, let's go. Giddy up, let's go. And we're going to be talking about tariffs today because Donald Trump has been big on promoting the idea of tariffs. I'm going to show you two takes on tariffs. One from a very, very funny but very dumb person, and one from a guy who actually deals with tariffs in his day-to-day life. I want to make it very clear, the very dumb person is incredibly funny. Very, very funny. We all watched him growing up. We'll get to that in just 1 minute. Before we do, guys, hit that thumbs up. Where the hell is my chat? Where the hell's my chat? There's my chat. How is it going, everybody? Want to welcome everybody in. Angela Joe, how are you? Sally, Sassy Lady, how are you? Marissa, what's happening? Big brain, guys. Make sure you're sharing this video out. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, tag a friend. Repost this, hit that share button. Also, big shout out to everybody. 500 plus cars over the weekend here on Long Island for our North Shore takeover. Giddy up, let's go. Giddy up, let's go. Absolutely great. Callie, what's going on? I know I owe you a phone call. I'll do that a little bit later. We got to talk about spinach or whatever the hell it is you were talking about the other day. Deb, how are you? Ray, how are you? Jay Lee, what's happening? A couple of things here. Before we dive into the main portion of the show, I want to go over a couple of things. I want to get things out of the way. I'm going to say them every day this week to make sure that I'm incredibly clear on this topic. There have been a slew of articles, a dozen, maybe more, articles sent to me this morning that names me as a Trump advisor. Names me as a Trump advisor. Joe, I said hello to you. Joey Delio. There you go. Return to hello. I know the show's all about you. Got to make sure I say hello to you. Every day. There have been a dozen articles today published in a slew of different news outlets that name me as a Trump advisor. I want to make this very clear. I am not an advisor to Donald Trump. I am not an advisor to the campaign. I do not work for the campaign. The news articles, including NDTV, that I use sometimes, I will use their outlet sometimes, have quoted me or have used a quote of mine from a Twitter post, from an X post. I want to make it very clear. I am not involved in the campaign or in advising the President of the United States in any way, shape, or form. These people did not reach out to me for comment. They did not ask me for a quote. They all ran off one article, they ran off another article, they ran off another article, and down they go. So, I want to make that very clear. I was not quoted. I was not asked for comment. Someone thought that I was a Trump campaign advisor. While flattered, I am not. While flattered, I am not. Shout out to all the Jet fans out there. Enjoy it. It probably won't last. Enjoy it. It's probably not going to last. So, yesterday, a crazy person, a lunatic, decided to take another shot at the President of the United States. Or decided to attempt to take another shot at the President of the United States. Now, look, we are in the early stages of this. We are about, 20 hours into this investigation. There are certainly going to be a lot of questions. We're going to tell you exactly what we know. Officers found an AK-47 style rifle with a scope and 2 backpacks, which were hung on a fence and had ceramic tiles in them, along with a GoPro. I don't know what the hell the ceramic tiles are for, but police confirmed that a suspect has been detained after the incident that the FBI is investigating as an assassination attempt on the life of Donald Trump at Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach. The suspect was detained by police who had shut down the highway. We certainly have the vehicle involved in the incident. We have the suspect. They were looking for it. Now the FBI and the Secret Service will take over the investigation, said the Martin County Sheriff William Snyder. Fox reported that the suspect's name is Ryan Wesley Ruth. Ruth's purported social media accounts are full of pro-Ukrainian posts, as well as some that are pro-Palestinian. Now, look, there's going to be, he donated, we're going to get to this in a minute, he donated to Democrats some 19 times. Apparently at one time he was a registered Republican, is not anymore. According to voter records, he has only voted 3 times in his life. Look, many people are going to go through many of his social media posts, and they are going to give you a very disjointed outlook on what this guy thought, what he wanted, who he was. Let's just call a spade here, okay? If you're going to shoot the President of the United States, clearly you don't have it all going on upstairs, okay? Clearly at some point the wires have stopped being crossed. I don't care which president you try to shoot, which ones you, doesn't matter. You try to kill the president, obviously something upstairs is not really right. On Sunday afternoon, shots rang out on the golf course where Trump was playing a round of golf. It was reported that Secret Service agents fired on a man they believed to have had a gun. Trump was not harmed and was led off the course. This comes, of course, after the attempt on his life in Butler. 1 man was killed in addition to the suspect, and 2 others were hospitalized. That's talking about the Butler incident. New York Post reporter Carol Markowitz shared a photo of the man she said was in custody, a pic of the man in custody after the attempt on Donald Trump in West Palm Beach. This man is 58 years old. At the time, they didn't know his name. It was later independently verified who he was. Here is, I believe this is the Palm Beach County Sheriff's captain.
Now, in the bushes where this guy was, is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had a ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro which he was going to take pictures of. So those are being processed.
I assume that the ceramic tile was for some sort of body armor. I can't imagine what else it would have been for. Maybe somebody in the chat can let me know. Now, let's dive in to just exactly how bad this guy was. Okay? The alleged would-be Trump assassin, Ryan Ruth, wrote a 2023 memoir about how Ukraine must win the honorable war and advocated for killing Trump. The book was titled Ukraine's Unwinnable War, The Fatal Flaw of Democracy, World Abandonment, and the Global Citizen, Taiwan, Afghanistan, North Korea, and End of Humanity. It was written by Ruth and his fiancée, Kathleen Schaefer. This guy is obviously bat crazy. While discussing the Ukraine war, he wrote, I presume that I must be clear that while on the current path, Ukraine will not win. It is imperative for the world that they do win. That is why this book is so important, for us to recognize that losing is not an option and what we must do to win. Now, Nothing says take me seriously like writing a book with those sort of prose in it. I mean, that's barely writing. Not really the point. He also appeared in a propaganda video, which is pretty odd. We're going to get to that, too, because Paul Joseph Watson does a great job breaking a lot of this down. You know what? Let's pop Paul Joseph Watson on the screen in just 1 minute. Before we do that, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So, Paul Joseph Watson, Prison Planet, you guys know him. He does a phenomenal job breaking down just how insane, bat bleep crazy this guy actually was. Here's Paul Joseph Watson.
Look, it happened again.
The FBI says it is investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump.
And a myriad of bizarre questions are already being posed. How did the gunman know that Trump would be playing golf at this exact time? Because it wasn't on his public schedule.
This event was not on any kind of public schedule, so it's not clear how this alleged lone gunman knew the former president would be playing golf today, and also at what time.
The shooter was just 300 to 500 yards away from Trump at the 5th hole when the muzzle of his rifle was seen sticking through the bushes, suggesting he'd been tracking him around the entire course. CNN reports Trump's golf outing was a last-minute decision, and yet this loser still somehow got access to that information. How? Former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker said it was a scary possibility that the gunman may have been given inside information about the former president's schedule.
How did he know that Donald Trump was going to be playing golf? How did he have access to his schedule?
It's hard for me to imagine how he got within rifle range of President Trump.
Yeah.
And despite a literal assassination attempt on Trump just 2 months ago, which missed killing him by an inch, they still don't have the resources to provide him with adequate security.
He's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. Well, because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible.
Despite swift efforts to scrub his social media footprint, we already know a ton of information about the gunman, and some of it's quite strange to say the least. Just like Thomas Crooks, Routh donated to AdBlue, a Democratic Party front group. But not just once, 19 times that we know of. He was a registered Democrat since 2008. He asked Hillary Clinton to be Biden's running mate to defeat Trump. His son says his dad hated Trump, like all reasonable people, and he wrote a weird book calling on Iran to assassinate Trump. Get ready for the media to say his politics were unclear. Routh also appeared in a Newsweek video with a half-blue rinse, morally grandstanding about good and evil.
To me, you know, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil.
Yeah, you're really the good guy, aren't you, mate? After the first would-be Trump assassin, Thomas Crooks, appeared in a BlackRock video, it's now emerged that Ryan Routh featured in a propaganda video for the Azov Brigade back in 2022.
Слава Україні!
The same battalion officially certified by the Blinken State Department to receive US weapons in June of this year. He was a vehement pro-Ukraine activist, profiled by the New York Times for his efforts to recruit foreign fighters, visiting DC to rustle up soldiers and weapons for the Ukraine proxy war, visiting college campuses and having odd interactions with people for the same reason.
Well, the Ukrainians have a right to fight back.
I don't do paper, though.
I don't care if you do paper or not. I'm looking for revolutionaries. Whatever people want to take this whole system down.
Bro, I'm a veteran. Like, do you need me?
What kind of veteran are you?
Bro, I served in Nuketown.
Well, I think it's better to serve and fight in the powers, fucking over the system.
Bro, give me a Glock and a Hellcat.
Take a look at this.
Bro, but I don't do paper, though. I just told you that.
Dude, then get away.
He tried to bring Afghans in to fight for Ukraine.
Officials in Kiev simply aren't interested in recruiting them.
Ukraine is reluctant to be cooperative.
That's Ryan Ruth, a U.S. citizen who set up the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine to help connect foreigners to Ukrainian military units.
Now I'm talking to over 100 soldiers every day, and pretty much everybody, all of my contacts in Ukraine, they were adamant and pretty much yelled at me every time that I suggested that we bring in Afghans.
Edward Snowden noted that Routh has Oswald vibes, saying it's hard to imagine this White House's agencies can claim zero contact, clean hands. Routh's first follow on X was reportedly a dyed-in-the-wool deep stater. This guy was glowing like hot coals, but I'm sure he'll just turn out to be another motive unknown. Kamala Harris is now the candidate of the day.
You're still looking good.
I'm still
Shout out to Paul Joseph Watson. Did a great breakdown of that. Look, obviously there are significant questions. The public schedule. How did he know? How did he know which golf? Look, it is not out of the realm of possibility for Donald Trump to be golfing on a Sunday morning. However, where he was going to be, what his tee time was, there are reports out right now that apparently this guy stayed in the woods for 12 hours prior to Donald Trump being there. I don't know how the hell you can just sneak onto a Trump golf course property and have, I don't know, nobody notice. He also, as Paul Joseph Watson said there, appeared in a Ukraine propaganda video where he tried to recruit Afghan soldiers to fight in Ukraine. Now, as you all know, I am not somebody that peddles in the things I cannot prove. However, I do find it incredibly odd, incredibly strange that some guy without a job can muster the resources, not only to get to Ukraine, but to what? Gain access to Afghani fighters in order to fight in a separate conflict than the civil war they're currently fighting in? Very odd stuff. Incredibly odd stuff. Stuff that makes you ask serious questions. He was also, of course, pro-Palestinian, because why wouldn't he be? One area that seems to get forgotten quite a bit in the who should we bomb next category is, of course, Taiwan, which he was a big advocate for. I would say, yeah, go Taiwan. That's about as much as I got for you. It's about as much as I got for you. Donated several times to 19 Democrats. Now, obviously, with a person of his meager means, didn't donate a lot, but 19 times, and he's been a registered Democrat since Barack Obama ran for president. I think it's safe to say he's not a Trumpster. However, leave it to people like Lester Holt to blame Donald Trump for his own assassination attempt. That bloated, balding hack over on NBC. But he wasn't the only one. There's a woman you've never heard of named Rachel Vindman. Rachel Vindman. Who is that? Well, Rachel Vindman is the fat wife of fat-ass Alexander Vindman. She tweeted out, "No ears were harmed. Carry on your Sunday afternoon." Yeah, one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. Of course, Alexander Vindman is the guy who made up all that bullshit about Donald Trump for Ukraine hoax. No ears were harmed. The left thinks this is funny. And since we are streaming on X right now, I would like to give a special shout out to the two members of the Lollipop Guild, Ed and Brian Krasenstein, who think that it is somehow okay to amplify complete and utter bullshit about Donald Trump to your millions and millions of followers, and then get shocked then be shocked when these sorts of things happen. You've called him a rapist. You've called him a Nazi. You've said he's going to end democracy. It bothers me because if I lived in Poland in 1939, it would be incumbent upon me to remove Hitler. That would be something I should do. So when you spend a decade comparing Donald Trump to the worst sorts of despots that's ever lived, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? You shouldn't be shocked by this. You shouldn't be shocked when people like Alexander Vindman's fat wife, and, it's not nice to make fun of people. I know that. It's not nice to make fun of people. However, I don't really like them, so I'm going to keep making fun of them. Oh, no bullets. No ears were damaged. Carry on your day, everybody. Why don't you go to hell? I'm glad you find that funny. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. Let's get this live chat up onto the screen. AC Knight, what's happening? Big Brain, how are you? Duked, what's going on? Well, shout out to the McGroin crew in the chat. Once again, I think they're called... Oh, I'm not saying that. Also, guys, tomorrow... Stay tuned tomorrow. I've got a very, very special surprise on the show tomorrow. A very special surprise. Some of you remember when I played you the video of Liam LaCastro here on Long Island, an 8-year-old boy with a rare brain disorder. The video that took the internet by storm. Well, Liam and his mom are going to be on the show tomorrow for an exclusive interview. You're not going to see this anywhere else. They didn't do an interview with anybody but me. If you guys haven't seen Liam's video, you know what? Maybe I'll make you all cry.
Carefully. Can you read it? Out loud? Yeah. Sure. It says, Dear Liam, happy 8th birthday. Mrs. Trump and I hope you enjoy this special occasion surrounded by the love of your family and friends. We are so encouraged by the strength and determination you have shown throughout your young life and send our love and best wishes to you as you continue to fight. Remember, you are never alone, and we are keeping you in our thoughts and prayers for continued care and good health. May God bless you and your family. Stay strong. Sincerely. Can you tell me who signed that? He knew it was your birthday coming up? What do you say to him?
Thank you. I love you.
What else do you say?
Thank you.
So Liam and his mom are going to be on the show tomorrow. I'm super excited about it. Really nice kid. His mom talks about his rare brain disease that he has. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's incredible, incredible young man, and I'm happy to be able to bring him to you guys. Super excited about that. So tomorrow, get ready to cry. Get ready to cry because I know I almost did as well. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling here, look, you guys didn't vote for this recession or this inflation, but you sure as heck are paying for it at the pump, at the grocery store, and with a stack of unpaid bills. I know that the financial stress is absolutely killing you, but your solution is now donewithdebt.com. Unlike others, donewithdebt.com has created new and aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done with Debt stands between you and bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest rates, and stop all those crazy penalties. Guys, they have a plan to put more money in your pocket the first month and every month after that until your debt is gone. And the best news is that donewithdebt.com is accepting new clients right now. But you've got to hurry because some of their debt strategies are time sensitive. Guys, again, these things are time sensitive. So you need to visit donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 right now and chat with one of their debt relief specialists for free. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. So you know, I wish I spoke more about economic policy on this show than I do. You know, we do a lot of culture war type stuff on this show. I love it. I think it's important. One thing Donald Trump has been talking a lot about is tariffs and the use of tariffs. Now, people who have read precisely one history book in their entire lives will tell you that tariffs are a terrible idea, that they're a tax on the middle class, that Herbert Hoover back in the 1930s implemented something called the Smoot-Hawley Act, which implemented tariffs on foreign goods and made the Great Depression even worse. And they'd be right about that. However, there is a time and a place for tariffs. Why do I say that? You guys have heard me mention it numerous times on this show, and you're going to hear somebody way smarter than me say it in a couple of minutes. But I want to know why exactly it is. You look at a photo of Tokyo, and you do not see Fords. You look at a photo of Berlin or France, and you do not see Chevys. You look at a photo of any other car maker anywhere around the world and you never seem to see American cars. Yet you, me, many other people continue to drive Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Hyundai, BMW, Mercedes, Porsche. Maybe not many of you drive Porsche, but you know what I'm saying. Why is that? Well, Donald Trump is planning on tariffing foreign goods. Now, for the last 50 years in this country, maybe even longer, since Richard Nixon opened up China to the American markets, there has been a concept on the American right that free trade is good for everybody. That if we have free trade, we can all get our products for cheaper, which is true. Which is absolutely true. Your washing machine is absolutely going to be cheaper when it's made with slave labor in Mexico, China, and Vietnam. Now, I want to be clear. The quality is going to be worse. The fact that slave labor is being used to make it is even worse. But moreover, the fall of the American worker. Now, many people in the neoliberal, neoconservative establishment love free trade. Why? Because it means that their donors who own the businesses, who own Lockheed, who own General Electric, who own LG, who own Samsung, they get to make their stuff for a hell of a lot cheaper and still charge Americans top dollar for it. In just a minute, I'm going to show you a very funny person get called out by another very funny person, because it seems as though when Democrats want to implement tariffs, they are good, but Donald Trump wants to implement them, and they are bad. Because the tariffs that Joe Biden has in place right now on China were implemented during the Trump campaign. Here is the very funny writer on Saturday Night Live for years, former senator from the state of Minnesota, Al Franken, being questioned by Bill Maher about American car manufacturers and how tariffing China benefits the American worker. Watch if you can see the dynamic here.
All right, here we are in overtime with a conservative pollster and CNN contributor, Kristen Soltis Anderson, and the former Democratic senator from Minnesota and the host of the Al Franken podcast, Al Franken. Okay. Here are what the people want to know. Al, do Americans not understand how tariffs work and who ultimately pays the price for them?
Americans don't understand how tariffs work.
Thank you. Question, sir.
Okay. Trump keeps saying that he put these tariffs on around, well, let's say China, and that China has paid us, sometimes he says tens of billions, sometimes hundreds of billions, sometimes trillions. Tariffs don't work that way.
No.
When we put a tariff, let's say on Chinese TVs, okay?
Why don't we say cars? Because that's what we're actually doing under the Biden administration.
Okay.
There's Bill Maher talking about cars. Al Franken doesn't like that example, so what does he do?
I read it today. 100% tariffs on Chinese cars. That makes Chinese cars, which are very inexpensive, competitive now, or I guess not competitive at all.
Not competitive.
With American cars. So why doesn't it not work only for Republicans? I don't get it, because this is what Biden is doing.
I don't know why he's doing that exactly, but I just want to get the concept of what a tariff is down.
Let's do that.
Okay, because a lot of people think, let's say, I'm going to use a different example. I'm going to use televisions, okay? Let's say Best Buy.
Now, despite both of these people being very funny, I'm not sure why the audience is laughing. Nothing funny was said, but that's neither here nor there.
Wants to buy 1,000 televisions from China, Chinese and Trump or whoever has put a tariff on it of 20%, and they're $500 each. So that means $100 each tariff. Now, according to Trump, he thinks China pays the tariff. China doesn't pay the tariff. Best Buy pays the tariff.
Of course.
Yeah. And when Best Buy pays the tariff, it has to decide whether to pass that on to the consumer, or maybe cut it in half and make it. That's how tariffs work.
Right.
And Trump keeps saying this over and over again. And I wish this was kind of one of the things that the moderators had been asked during the thing. Is that how tariffs work? No, it doesn't. And she was right saying it's a tax on the middle class is
Okay.
what she was saying.
But let's say it's cars.
Yes, let's say.
So
No.
now it's not Best Buy paying the tariff, it's Ford.
Right.
And General Motors.
Right.
Why doesn't it work the same way? Why isn't it a bad idea when the Democrats are doing it?
I think that I don't know electric cars very well. And I don't know what the rationale behind that is, whether they're inferior products but as far as I'm concerned.
I think they're not inferior. I think that's why we have to protect our own makers here, because they would be
in that
very,
case,
very.
damn it, Biden's wrong.
There you go. Was that so hard? Let's not play team sports. Let's play truth.
It took him 4 minutes to be able to admit his own policy that his own president he doesn't agree with. Now, the question Bill Maher posed at the very end is the point that I want to make. It is not about lowering the price of the good, because I've got a feeling, and I'm going to put the live chat up here to get your take on this. I'm going to put the live chat up here to get your take on this. Hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on Facebook. Hit the like button, tag a friend, share the show. Let's go. I'd be willing to bet that everybody watching this would gladly pay more for a television set or a dishwasher or a dryer or an air conditioner if it were made by Americans in American factories. I would be willing to bet that when the chat answers that question, as you can see right here, it's going to light up, saying that every person would rather know that General Electric was making air conditioners in Detroit or in Western Pennsylvania, and you got to pay a little bit more in order to sustain the wage of an American worker. Everyone would be willing to do that. Now, as you can see from the chat, it is not about you paying more. It is about the manufacturers of these products wanting to make more money. Now, look, Toyota, Honda, Samsung. I have no problem with foreign companies. But you better open that plant in America, and it better be a union job. You want to sell your overpriced Lexuses to Americans? Good, make it here. Then it would not be subject to the tariff. Because if Samsung wants to make crappy cell phones that destroy everybody's group chats, they can make them here. Then they would not be subject to the tariff. Now, we are going to bring someone up on the screen who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to tariffs. Before we do that, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That is your home base, your mothership, your landing craft for your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Check out the LFA TV shop. Jeremy's got some great stuff over there. Also, guys, while you're there, consider becoming a monthly donor to LFA TV. That is how you guys can keep us funded. That way we can keep bringing you guys this sort of content that you can show other people so that they will know exactly what is going on. Guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Now we move over to CNBC with people that actually are impacted by tariffs, business owners, hedge fund managers, financiers. Listen to the difference in tone with someone who knows what they're talking about as opposed to Al Franken, who just moves his hands really fast and then somebody puts on the laugh track.
When you talk to the former president about tariffs, do you see it as a bargaining chip, or do you think you're going to see tariffs across the board of 20%?
I think we should put tariffs on stuff we make and not put tariffs on stuff we don't make. It's pretty simple. And of course it's a bargaining chip. We can't sell a Ford or GM in Europe. You go to Europe, you can't sell a Ford or GM. Why? There's 100% tariffs. How about in Japan? 100% tariffs. So do you think if we said, we're going to tariff you the way you tariff us, do you think they're going to allow Mercedes and all these Japanese companies and Porsches and BMWs to all of a sudden have 100% tariffs in America? Of course not. They're going to come and negotiate, and their tariffs are going to come down. And finally, Ford and General Motors are going to be able to sell in these places.
How's that sound, Andrew?
Of course they're going to come down. Of course. This is just negotiating.
It absolutely makes sense. If you do it strategically, if it's across the board, it creates a real problem. And the question is whether you believe the president is going to do it strategically or across the board. He keeps saying it across the board.
Well, when you're running for office, you make broad statements so people understand you. Right. Okay? Tariffs are an amazing tool by the president to use. They're an amazing tool, but he understands don't tariff stuff we don't make. Right? If we don't make it, and you want to buy it, I don't want to put the price up there. It's pointless. But use tariffs to build in America. If we want to make it in America, tariff it. Or if we're competing with it, tariff it. But you got to remember, we need to protect the American worker. Finally, someone's going to protect the American worker. And Donald Trump is here to protect the American worker.
Do you think we make a lot of money in tariffs, or if they're used as negotiating tactics? Look, tariffs will come down there. We're not going to have super high tariffs here either. There's not going to be a big pot of money at the end of the day.
I love that story. So which is it? Do we make a lot of money on tariffs, or we bring productivity here and we drive up our workers here? So it's a win-win scenario. I like both of them. I think what's going to happen is we'll make a bunch of money on the tariffs, but mostly everybody else is going to negotiate with us, and we will be more fair. In 1948, right, we came up with something called the Marshall Plan, right? The world, Germany and Japan were destroyed after World War II, and we wanted to export our economy to them. So we made a rule. They could tariff us, and we won't tariff them. So they can rebuild.
This is the best explanation I've heard of.
So they can rebuild their economy. We rebuilt their economy using something called the Marshall Plan. Yeah. Our economy is so awesome that we'll use it to help you rebuild. When should that have ended? What do you think, 1980? Right? 1985? I mean, why 40 years are Japan and Germany and all of Europe still tariffing the heck out of our auto industry, tariffing the heck out of our furniture industry? Do you realize all your furniture you're buying that's made foreign? It seems crazy. Why? It's because they tariff us and we don't tariff them. It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. You could listen to the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and the guys over at Squawk Box, you could listen to them about tariffs. Or you could listen to the guy who on Saturday Night Live reminded Michael Jordan that people like him and he's special. Look, it's up to you. You want to take your advice from Stuart Smiley, whatever the hell his name was, or from the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, okay? Pick your poison there, because I got news for you, okay? And no one, I have heard no one describe tariffs in a more succinct, straight way than I just heard from, I don't know, a legit billionaire, or the guy who wrote for Saturday Night Live for 30 years. Look, and I want to be clear, I'm not dogging Al Franken. Al Franken is hilarious. One of the best comedy writers of all time. But whose word are you taking there? Whose word are you going to take there? I know whose word I'm taking, and it's probably going to be the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We got a couple more stories that I do want to get to. Before we do that, guys,
the biggest benefit, honestly, has been with my skin. Skin was more hydrated, more radiant.
This is the best superfood that you could take.
It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance.
My hair has gotten so much thicker ever since taking this.
I used to have a probiotic, a green juice. I replaced it all with this Arma colostrum. It is amazing.
You gotta take it.
If you want to try it, try arma.com.
Guys, start feeling better today with the superfood formula over at Armor Colostra. Guys, try Armor Colostra. Head on over to tryarmor.com/LFATV. That's tryarmor.com/LFATV. Start feeling better today. Get 15% off and free shipping over at tryarmor.com. Let's get that live chat up. How is everybody doing today? Yo, Long Island. Are you ready for Wednesday? Are you ready for Donald Trump? Nassau Coliseum, giddy up, let's go, rolling and rocking and rolling. I know so many of my friends out there from all over the country have gotten to see Donald. If you live in North Carolina, or you live in Georgia, or Pennsylvania, or Nevada, however the hell you pronounce it, you guys get to see Donald Trump all the time. But finally, the King of New York is coming home. Finally, the King of New York is coming home. Callie, what's going on? Sly, thank you so much for the gift. I got your card yesterday. I want to thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that, as always. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Heard John Deere was fined almost $10 billion in bribery with a subsidiary in Thailand. Go figure. Go figure. That should not shock anybody. Shouldn't shock anybody. But we've got an election coming up, and we've got some big news coming out about said election. So the state of Pennsylvania has decided to finally right some of their wrongs, as a Pennsylvania court reverses the ruling which allowed misdated mail-in ballots. Giddy up, let's go. Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled on Friday that mail-in ballots with the incorrect or missing dates on the outer envelope will not be counted in the upcoming November election, overturning a previous ruling that from a lower court. The decision marks a significant development in that battleground state ahead of the crucial election season. This is, as some people would say, huge. The decision reverses the lower court ruling that appealed only to Philadelphia and Allegheny counties. Republicans hailed the ruling as a victory for election integrity, while the ACLU criticized it for disenfranchising eligible voters. The previous ruling, issued last month, applied only to Philadelphia and Allegheny County, but the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania argued that the lower court overstepped in its jurisdiction in issuing that decision, ultimately reversing it. Huge election integrity win in Pennsylvania, said GOP Chair Michael Whatley. I can't hear Michael Whatley's name without thinking about Whatley from Seinfeld. I'm sorry. I'm sure you've dealt with it your whole life. My name's Kevin Smith. Welcome to the club. He wrote on a post on X, celebrating the decision as a victory for Republicans concerned about integrity of the mail-in balloting process. The ruling, however, has drawn criticism from the communist ACLU of Pennsylvania. I added the communist part. In a press release, the organization referred to misdated ballots as common and a trivial error, and expressed concern that eligible voters would be disenfranchised by the court's decision. Today's procedural ruling is a setback for Pennsylvania voters, and we will keep fighting for them. These eligible voters who got their ballot in on time should have their votes counted. Well, Steve Looney, attorney over at the ACLU, if they got their ballots in on time, they'll be counted. If they don't get them in on time, they shan't be counted. This is not difficult stuff here. This is not difficult nor controversial. You get it in on, you have 6 weeks. 6 weeks to mail in a ballot. You can't get it in on time? Are you kidding me? Despite the controversy, the court's ruling will stand unless further legal challenges arise. The decision also comes with a sharp divide amongst the court justices. 3 of the 7 justices dissent against the reversal. So this was a 4-3 decision in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And that is why elections matter. That is why off-year elections matter. And that is why we cannot stop fighting, no matter what. No matter what the outcome of this election may be. There will be elections in 25. We will reset, regroup, attack again. That is how we're going to do it. Regardless, if Trump wins or if Trump loses, we're never going to stop pushing. It took genuinely terrible people 50 years to destroy this country. We're not going to get it back in one election. Let's just make that very, very clear. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Let me show you guys something. We got new stuff over on the website. We got new stuff over on the website. We got baby gear now. We got so much more baby gear. Guys, check this stuff out. We got women's crop top hoodies. I know some people have been asking for these. We got kid stuff on the website now. We got crop top t-shirts. Load that up, baby. It looks good. Guys, I know all the girls today are wearing those crop tops. So pick yours up today. LoudMajorityUSA.com. That's LoudMajorityUSA.com for all the good stuff. We got pet stuff. Get your Trump Vance flags while supplies last, guys. Giddy up, hurry up, let's go. So much good stuff over here, guys. Check this stuff out now. That's the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on. All of the shirts come in multiple colors. I want to make that very clear. Some people said they didn't like the grays or whatever. Get your Trump ducks. People love I guess there's something going on with people that own Jeeps. I don't know what the hell that is. But pick up your Trump duck as we roll into hoodie season. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Don't forget my favorite shirt on the website, guys. Don't forget my favorite one. Of course, that would be this one. I'm not going to read it out loud to you. I'll just let you read it to yourselves because everybody seems to like this one. Giddy up, get that merch. LoudMajorityUSA.com. That's LoudMajorityUSA.com. So, as we proceed into more of the culture war area, we're starting to see that our version of American culture is winning and winning strong. We've seen independent rappers like Tom McDonald take over the Billboard charts, featuring a guy like Ben Shapiro. Shockingly, they weren't at the VMAs. I don't know why they didn't get invited. We've seen movies like The Sound of Freedom take over the American lexicon. Well, over the weekend, 2 of the top grossing movies in America were conservative in nature. One of them being Reagan, played by Dennis Quaid. Everyone should go see that. Very good stuff. But another one was a little-known documentary by Matt Walsh called Am I Racist?, which opened as the 3rd highest grossing film in the country. I say this all the time, guys. Look, As we get pushed out of institutions, we will build our own. Some of them very difficult to build. A Google. We can't rely on there to be an Elon Musk to come along and purchase all of our social media sites. But people can make good quality films, good quality documentaries. And with the right amount of reach and the right amount of push, people will go see it. And the Daily Wire's Am I a Racist, starring Matt Walsh, was the third highest grossing movie on Friday, out-earning major studio releases in more than 2,500 theaters. Am I Racist, which premiered on Friday, outgrossed Lionsgate The Killing Games, which was and was the second biggest new release of the day. Am I Racist? One of only 15 documentaries to ever open on 1,500 theater screens. Also, the third highest opening gross for a documentary in the last decade. Audiences are raving about the film, in which Matt Walsh goes deep undercover to expose the inner workings of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The film has a 99% Rotten Tomato audience score and earned an A rating from CinemaScore, which grades movies based on the audience response. No other new release received an A. By the end of its second day in theaters, Am I a Racist? Will have already been the biggest documentary of the year. 95% of audience members said Am I a Racist met or exceeded their expectations. According to post-track exit polling, nearly 70% of viewers said the film was excellent, and 57% said they would tell one of their friends to see it in a theater. Now, look, some people may not like Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, whatever. Not the point. The point of this is that with these films coming out, whether it's What is a Woman, Am I a Racist, or independent dramatic films like The Sound of Freedom, people like us are beginning to show the industry that, you know what, if you just make a good movie, if you don't try to lecture people, people will come see your movie. You don't need to spend $400 million on another Marvel blockbuster that has the same storyline over and over and over again in order to get butts into seats. If you just make a good film, people will come and see it. That's it. The more of these that come out, and look, as I said, some people may not like Ben Shapiro. They may not like the Daily Wire. I get it. But when you look, I wish all creators, all people in the movement would support those who can make something like that. I don't have the resources to go make a movie like that. I don't. I wish I did. I think it'd be hilarious. Which is why I will support Steelers fan. Yes, God is not dead. Check that out. That's Dean Cain, Isaiah Washington, Samara Armstrong. Check that out as well. Another good one. We're beginning to make movies on our own here. Gosnell, that was another one put out by the Daily Wire. I believe the Daily Wire put that out with Dean Cain and Nick Searcy, about the only abortion doctor in American history to ever be charged with murder, Kermit Gosnell in Philadelphia. Great film. Check it out. Get ready to cry. We have to support each other in our content creation here because we need to give people the resources to be able to make these sorts of things. That's how we break into culture, and that's how we keep making an impact. Guys, we're going to wrap the show up right now. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Once again, tomorrow, guys, at 1:30, we are going to be joined by the most famous 8-year-old in the world, Liam LaCastro. Make sure you guys tune in then. They wrote an article about him in the Times of India, which, I want to be clear, not that many people read. only about 1 billion people, so it's not that many. Literally the most famous 8-year-old in the world is going to be on the show tomorrow. Can't wait. Super excited about that. Guys, tune in then. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. Good stuff. Guys, I'll catch you guys back live tomorrow. Until then, Ryan Mata's up next. Stay loud.